But for now, let's cross up to the Sunshine State and catch up with Amanda Stoker, host of Sunday with Stoker, 7 o'clock every Sunday night here on Sky News. Thanks for joining us, Amanda. Tell us about the Greens and this silly game they're playing with Labor now over climate policies. They want all new coal and gas projects shut down. Well, they're just going to give Labor what they want, aren't they, in the end? And Labor is shutting down as many of these projects as they can anyway.
Look, Labor have already committed to review approvals for 18 coal and gas projects. And you're right, Chris, this is a mere charade and we all know that the Greens will cave in time. But the policy that they're fighting for here is utterly irresponsible, it's delusional, and it is such an extremist policy that it should hopefully wake up many Australians to what they're really all about. The idea that there is anything responsible whatsoever about giving us a future filled with blackouts as we depend on intermittent rather than baseload energy sources is complete madness. But we shouldn't let Labor off the hook here either. No. Labor consistently backs the Greens in and they have the option many a time to support with their preferences, much more sensible options, but they always bring it back to these crazies in the Greens. Yeah, they're effectively a coalition. Now, I showed at the top of the program how even the Reserve Bank Governor, Philip Lowe, says what we need is cheap, reliable energy, yet we get the Greens banging off with this stuff.
Coal and gas are fueling the climate crisis. Coal and gas are the main causes of the climate crisis. Coal and gas are fueling the fires, the droughts and the floods that are hitting this country.
It's just extremist rhetoric and it works against the nation's interests. We're seeing another example of that in Victoria now. If you have a look at these headlines, a paper mill in the Latrobe Valley looks like shutting down with 200 jobs are going to be lost. This is Greens pushing the Dan Andrews Labor government to get rid of forestry in native forests and we're going to lose these jobs. We can show you the headlines here. It's the Maryvale paper mill and 200 jobs to go. Again, Amanda, this is Greens policies and it's affecting all of us, those 200 people who lose their jobs, but also paper prices right across the country are now tipped to escalate. And that's the madness of it. These 200 people were already struggling with the cost of living that we're all struggling with at the moment, and now they don't have a way to pay the bills. That lovely recyclable paper is no longer being produced in Australia. That's less economic activity for everybody, less taxes being paid to fund that ridiculous spending level that the Greens are always advocating for. And as for the extremist rhetoric around the climate, I mean, just saying climate crisis over and over and over again doesn't make it so. Victoria's had one of its coldest summers. Sydney has had, I think, the second coldest summer day on record. And even in the time of Dorothea McKellar, this was the land, this still is the land of droughts and flooding rains. And let's get some connection with reality here. Exactly. This was the summer it snowed in February. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of clips here and then get your thoughts about the cost of living debate, Amanda. Firstly, here's how the Coalition have been bringing it home to this point every moment they can in question time.
When will the Prime Minister announce a plan to deal with the rising inflation problem in this country, which is fuelling higher interest rates? Why do Australian families always pay more under Labor?
And after 9 months in office, the Prime Minister doesn't have a single policy to put downward pressure on interest rates. Why do Australian families always pay more under Labor?
Now, that's been the strong theme in question time all week. And if you want to cut up ads for the Aston by-election, here's some reminders of what Anthony Albanese was saying during last year's election campaign.
There is a cost of living crisis in this country. All of the measures that we've put in place are about putting downward pressure on inflation and interest rates. And it's a plan to take pressure off the cost of living. What we need isn't just cost of living relief during an election campaign that disappears once people have cast their vote.
The gall. Amanda, 30 seconds on why this is where it counts. Well, look, this is the issue that matters most for everybody right now, and everyone's feeling it. But there's a really burning criticism, I think, in the clips you've just shown of the mainstream media who never dug anywhere near deep enough into what all these plans were. The cupboard is bare, there's nothing in it.
Yeah, extraordinary stuff, and we'll keep coming back to this time and time again on this program, that's for sure, on this station. Thanks for joining us, Amanda. Looking forward to your show Sunday night. Amanda Stoker there. You can see Sunday with Stoker, 7 o'clock here on Sky News.